Zacama Primal Calamity Commander deck. Hey everyone, it's vmcampos, Magic fan, Commander fan. I've got a deck tech video for you where I'll show you one of my favorite Commander decks, the Zacama Primal Calamity Commander deck. Now this video is intended for intermediate to advanced players, but beginners might find interesting things here as well. So I built this Commander deck, which as you know is a deck made out of exactly 100 cards with a Commander, and every card in the deck is a singleton, only one of each, and every card is made up only of the colors of the Commander. So this is a red, green, and white deck. It can only have those, as well as colorless spells like artifacts. That's what a Commander deck is basically. Singleton of a certain color, and it must be commanded by a legendary creature. Hey, that's what Zacama is. A legendary creature, Elder Dinosaur. So this is the crown jewel of the deck. Now, the deck is at least $50, so if you've got a little bit of the budget, you'll be able to put this deck together. This is the most expensive card in the deck. It's about $10 or so as of this video. Everything is less than that, some as little as 5 cents, but some of the more impressive things are $5 or so per card. Okay, Zacama. For 9 mana, you get a 9/9 creature that has Vigilance, Reach, and Trample. Amazing. What's even more amazing, when it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, so not by cheating it in with some other spell, if you cast it, untap all lands you control. So you just spent 9 mana to summon this, and you get all that 9 mana back to do more things. What else can you do? You pay 3 mana, red and 2, Zacama deals 3 damage to target creature. So wipe out your opponent's creatures by fire breathing on them. Or green and 2, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So get rid of any of that pesky technology. Or for 1 white and 2, you gain 3 life. So amazing. Okay, so this is the main card in the deck. Let's look at what else we've got here. We've got 2 cards that really focus on dinosaur tribal synergy. Radiant Destiny, 3 mana total, enchantment, rare. You can ascend if you've got 10 or more permanents. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. We'll choose Dinosaur, of course. Creatures you control of that type get +1/+1. And if you've got the City's Blessed, they have Vigilance. So once you ascend, all your creatures are vigilant, but as soon as this enters to the battlefield, all your dinosaurs get +1. Nice. Along the same lines, we've got Vanquisher's Banner. For 5 mana, this artifact works similar. The same way, choose Dinosaur, all dinosaurs get +1/+1. But when you summon a creature card of the dinosaur type, you get to draw a new card. So this is good drawing ability. Strengthens your dinosaurs, draws you more cards. Strengthens your dinosaurs, makes them vigilant. I'll get to the dinosaurs in a moment, but let me mention some removal here. It's pretty much all in white. Baffling End, 2 mana, enchantment. You exile an opponent's creature of mana cost 3 or less. If this enchantment leaves play, they get a free dinosaur. So basically exile one of their early plays, and unless they can get rid of this, it's gone. Okay, a little bit less conditionally, sort of. Also for 2 mana, exile target tapped creature an opponent controls until seal away leaves. So this works great because it's got flash. Your opponents attack you, and then you seal them away, never to return, unless they destroy the enchantment. Okay, for 5 mana, this is an instant. Exile target creature or enchantment. So they're gone. You've got 5 mana, their thing is gone, creature or enchantment. Hieromancer's Cage, 4 mana, enchantment. When this enters, you exile a non-land permanent. So this will deal with creatures, enchantments, artifacts, whatever of your opponent. That thing goes away as long as this cage is in play. Better than that, same casting cost, Ixalan's Binding, 4 mana. It also exiles just like the cage, but your opponents cannot cast spells with the same name as the exiled card, so completely remove that card, can no longer be played at all. Great removal. If you want to lock down creatures, we've got good old Luminous Bonds. 3 mana, a enchanted creature can't attack or block. Okay. Desert's Hold is very similar. Cannot attack or block. You gain 3 life. If you've got a desert, there's no deserts in this deck, so you won't gain life. But enchanted creature cannot attack or block, and its activated abilities cannot be activated. So really lock down your opponent's creatures with this. Pious Interdiction, 4 mana, similar to the rest, except you gain 2 life, and then the creature cannot attack or block. And lastly, just in case you need to start all over and your opponents are really swarming you, for 6 mana, 3 white, Hour of Revelation, Sorcery. Now this can cost 3 less if there are 10 or more non-land permanents on the battlefield, so including everyone. Destroy all non-land permanents, so wipe everything out. Now I will say this is in the sideboard. Think about putting this is not in the main deck. Make a Stand, 3 mana, instant. Creatures you control get +1 and gain indestructible until end of turn. Okay, well, cast your Hour of Revelation and then cast the Make a Stand, making your creatures indestructible. That resolves. Everything gets destroyed except your indestructible creatures. So be careful, your enchantments and artifacts and all of that go away. It's not in the main deck. Think about putting it in, perhaps. Next, we've got some damage spells. These are all in green. Rabid Bite. For 2 mana, sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't. So basically take a bite out of your opponent's creatures. And with our creatures usually bigger than theirs, their creatures are done. Similar, Pounce. The difference here is that they fight each other. So you deal damage to them, they deal damage to you. Be careful here, because if they've got a Death Touch creature, your creature will not survive. However, this will work well with Enrage, which I'll get to later. And lastly, we've got Hunt the Weak. For 4 mana, you first put a 1/1 counter on your creature, making it stronger, and then they fight. Again, they'll deal damage back to your creature, which might help you with Enrage, but be careful with Death Touch. Okay, other kinds of damage. In red, Lightning Strike, 2 mana, 3 damage to anything, including Planeswalkers. So that's nice and direct. Bombard, 3 mana, 4 damage to target creature. Now there's a bunch of other direct damage you can do, like Lava Coil, Sheevan Fire. It's up to you, just get some direct damage. And lastly, Shake the Foundation. 3 mana, instant speed, deals 1 damage to each creature without flying. So ping all creatures on the battlefield for 1, wiping out the weaker ones, maybe also hitting your own creatures which enrage them, and you draw a card. Over here we've got some sort of card drawing things. Colossal Majesty, enchantment for 3. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. So you're going to have a lot of big creatures in this deck pretty fast, and they will let you draw cards faster than your opponent. Just 1 time, but 1 more than your opponent. Okay, for some reusable card draw, Arcane Encyclopedia. Artifact for 3. 3 and tap, draw a card. That's it. More cards, more better. And let's say you lose cards to the graveyard. Nature's Spiral, sorcery, 1 and a green. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. So bring things back from the graveyard to fight for you again. Okay, before we get to the creatures, which are right here, we're gonna need to generate a lot of mana number 1 for Zacama, and number 2 for our other dinosaurs. So we've got a mana rock here, Manalith. This is an artifact. Tap to add 1 mana of any color. Okay. Now you could also add a Gilded Lotus, which will give you 3 mana of any one color, although that costs 5. We'll go with Manalith. To get to our big creatures quickly, I've got some cost-reducing creatures. Kinjali's Collar for 1 white mana. Dinosaur spells cost you 1 less. So Zacama will be 1 less mana to cast, 1 less generic mana. And you get a 0/3 body. Along the same lines, Otepec Huntmaster. 2 mana, 1 red, 1 more. You get a 1/2 body. Dinosaur spells cost 1 less to cast, so more cost reduction. It's like getting free mana. But what's this? Tap this creature, and target dinosaur gains haste until end of turn. If you've got the Huntmaster, and you summon Zacama, you're able to tap the Huntmaster, and you've got a 9/9 attacker the moment it attacks. Haste! Okay, more cost reduction is a little more pricey, but it pays you back in dividends. 4 casting cost for a 2/4 body. Dinosaur spells cost 2 less to cast. Whoa, just imagine having all of these cost reducers on the field. Crazy fast. Now, everything in this deck, pretty much, the big creatures are dinosaurs. And Gorkalaw, Terror of Kalsima, wandered in to the deck, and we're happy to have him. 4 casting costs for a 4/3. Creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast. Another cost reducer for our big creatures. Even better, whenever Gorkalaw attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. So attacking with this bear along with your dinosaurs will be an epic beatdown. So we'll welcome him into our dinosaur family. Okay, besides cost reducers, we've got mana dorks, which are creatures that will generate mana. Classic Llanowar Elves for 1 green mana. This will give you 1 green mana. 1/1. Okay, more mana, more good. Druid of the Cowl, same thing. For 2 mana, you get 1 mana and a 1/3 body. Okay, same thing. Drover of the Mighty, for 2 mana, you get 1 mana of any color. So that'll help you fix things. You get a 1/1. Better yet, when you've got a dinosaur in play, this gets +2/+2. So you get a 3/3 plus mana of any color. Atsakan Seer, for 3 mana, you get 1 mana of any color and a 2/3 body. But then you can sacrifice the Seer once you've got plenty of mana and return target dinosaur card from your graveyard to your hand. So return your dinos to fight again once he has served his purpose. And we've got Priest of the Awakening Sun for 1 white mana, a 1/1 creature, human cleric. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may reveal a dinosaur card from your hand. If you do, gain 2 life. Okay, so you're going to have dinosaurs in your hand most of the time, so you're going to be gaining life pretty often. Okay, better yet, for 5 mana, sacrifice the priest, search your library for a dinosaur card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. So go get a dinosaur to help you fight after he has used up his life-giving ability. Okay, other ways that we're going to ramp into tons of mana. Commune with dinosaurs. 1 green mana. Sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a dinosaur or land card from among them and put it into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your library. So, you're gonna go get more mana, ready to play, or another dinosaur. Similar, Adventurous Impulse, 1 green mana, sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards. You may reveal a creature, so not just a dinosaur, any creature, or a land card, and put it into your hand, and the rest to the bottom. So, very similar. Next we've got Beneath the Sands. For 3 mana, the sorcery will let you search your library for a basic land card. Put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So go get that mana, go get that land that you're missing, put it into the field. If you don't need this card later on in the game, you can cycle it to draw another card. Similar, Grow from the Ashes, 3 mana. Search your library for a basic land, put it into the battlefield. Now this one comes in not tapped, so be aware of that. Then shuffle. If you paid the kicker price, 2 more. So 5 mana in total, you can go get 2 basic land cards, put them into the battlefield untapped, and then shuffle. That's nice. Gift of Paradise. For 3 mana, you enchant a land, you gain 3 life, and that land will give you 2 mana of any one color. So double your mana on a land. And New Horizons is pretty much the same thing, but instead of gaining life, your creature will get a +1/+1 counter, and you'll get the 2 mana of any color. Ramp. Couple more ramp cards. Song of Freyalise, a Saga. Chapter 1 and 2 turn all of your creatures into mana dorks until end of turn. So suddenly, all your creatures will help you generate mana to get out Zacama or our other buddies. And on the 3rd chapter, put a permanent +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain Vigilance, Trample, and Indestructible until end of turn. So a lowly Llanowar elf will easily block a big ol' creature until end of turn. Another Saga, the Mending of Dominaria. This one's pretty interesting. Chapter 1 and 2. Put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So whatever you might have milled away, as a creature you can grab one back, or any other creature that was already in the graveyard. 3rd chapter. Return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then shuffle your graveyard into your library. So you'll get everything back out of the graveyard, and all the lands that might have been in there, right on the battlefield, untapped. Wow. Well, what are we doing with all of that mana? Let's look at our dinosaur squad right here. First, I'll look at all of these Enraged creatures. So Enrage, whenever the creature is dealt damage, something cool will happen. For 4 mana, you get a 2/5, so a great blocker. When the Cacophodon is damaged, untap target permanent. It can untap itself, a different dinosaur, or artifact, whatever permanent, a land. Needletooth Raptor. I love this card, and he's going to combo very well with this card over here. Let me get back to that. Needletooth Raptor. For 4 mana, you get a 2/2. Enrage. When it's dealt damage, it deals 5 damage to target creature an opponent controls. So it damages an opponent's creature for 5 points, which will wipe out most creatures. Okay, here's the combo. Let me skip ahead a little bit here. Forerunner of the Empire. For 4 mana, you get a 1/3 human soldier. When he enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a dinosaur card. Reveal it, shuffle your library, and put the card on top. Okay, so you're going to go tutor for a dinosaur, maybe this little guy. Then, whenever a dinosaur enters the battlefield, so as long as the Forerunner is on the battlefield, whenever a dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you may have Forerunner of the Empire deal 1 damage to each creature. So this is going to do damage to everything on the board. 1 damage. So you'll be enraging your Needletooth Raptor to then deal 5 damage to something else. Or if you've got the Cacophodon, untap something, or the other ones I'll talk about. So this is a great combo with these Enraged dinosaurs. Here's another Enraged dinosaur. For 5 mana, you get a 4/4 Overgrown Armosaur. Every time it's enraged, you get a 1/1 green Sapperling token. Okay, the deck is pretty much all dinosaurs, but you'll also perhaps be generating little Sapperlings to chump block or to overwhelm your opponent eventually. Even scarier here, the Trapjaw Tyrant. For 5 mana, 5/5 creature with Enrage. Whenever Trapjaw Tyrant is dealt damage, exile target creature an opponent controls until Trapjaw leaves. Again, what if you've already got the Forerunner on the field, then you summon the Tyrant, you choose to have it do damage to everything. This gets enraged. You can then exile any of your opponent's creatures, like their commander. Ooh, the Silverclad Ferocidon, 7 mana for an 8/5 with Enrage. This is crazy. Whenever the Ferocidon is dealt damage, each opponent sacrifices a permanent. That's a permanent, which includes creatures, enchantments, artifacts, planeswalkers, and lands. Now it is a big old 7 mana investment, but with all of our ramp and cost reduction, we can do it. And if we're in early on in the game and get this enraged, it'll really devastate our opponent's tempo. And lastly, for our enraged creatures, this combo, I can't believe this. Polyraptor, 8 mana for a 5/5 enrage. Whenever Polyraptor is dealt damage, create a token that's a copy of Polyraptor. If you play your cards right, you've got the Forerunner, you summon the Polyraptor, you let this do damage, this gets damaged, suddenly you've got 2 Polyraptors. Wait a minute, that second Polyraptor entered the battlefield, have it do damage again. 1 damage here, 1 damage to your token, you've suddenly got 4 Polyraptors. Wait a minute, those 4 Polyraptors entered. You can trigger this 1 more time before it kills itself, and each of those 4 doubles. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're going to end up with like 10 or 12 Polyraptors, 5/5 each, if you pull off this amazing combo. This is epic. Alright, let's look at some more of our critters. I already showed you the amazing combos you can do with your Forerunner. Okay, Wayward Sawtooth. For 3 mana, you get a 5/5. A 5/5 for only 3 mana. What's the catch? The catch is it cannot attack or block unless you have the City's Blessing. So once you get 5 permanents, then it can attack or block. Okay, boo. But wait a minute. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. So empty out your hand faster of lands as soon as you bring out the Swordtooth. Then you'll be able to bring in this little guy on turn 2 if you drop a Forest turn 1, a Llanowar Elf turn 1, and then any other land turn 2. 3 mana turn 2, Swordtooth. Then play your 2 lands per turn. You'll get to ascend pretty fast. Kinjali Sunwing, 3 mana, Flying Dinosaur. Now there are not a lot of flying dinosaurs in the deck. If you want to take care of your opponent's flying creatures, you've got something like Hunt the Weak or our other damage spells. But for a 2/3 body, the more important thing is creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. So really slowing down your opponent's creatures, including anything with haste. Here's another flyer, 5 mana, 2/5. If you've got another dinosaur in play, which you will, then you've got Vigilance on this little flyer. 2/5 Vigilance, nice. Raging Regisaur, 4 mana, red, green, and 2 more, 4/4. Whenever Raging Regisaur attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So ping your opponent directly, ping your opponent's creatures, or what about pinging your own creatures with Enrage? Speaking of pinging your own creatures, for 5 mana, Raging Swordtooth, 5/5, Trample, and when it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each other creature. Again, perfect with our Enrage, or to do a sort of Goblin Chain Whirler before it was cool to all creatures. Crested Herd Caller, 5 mana, 3/3, Trample. When it enters the battlefield, you get another 3/3 Dinosaur Buddy. So this Herd Caller will call another dinosaur, 3/3 with Trample. 2 dinosaurs for the price of 1. Check out the Charging Tuskodon, 5 mana, 4/4, Trample. If Charging Tuskodon would deal combat damage to a player, it deals double that damage to the player. So if the opponent chump blocks with a 1/1, 3 damage goes through. that 3 damage is doubled to 6. If the opponent has no blocks for the Tuscadon, that is 8 damage. It's vaguely like double strike, but not really, and you double the damage. Charging Monstrosaur, who's afraid of a 5/5 trample haste dinosaur. Your opponents are, for 5 mana. Colossal Dreadmaw, 6 mana for a 6/6 trample classic. And with your Otepec Huntmaster, you can give any dinosaur haste. Speaking of haste, Regisaur Alpha. Other dinosaurs you control have haste. So once you summon her pretty quickly, all your dinosaurs are quick, and she also brings in another dinosaur buddy. Thundering Spineback for 7 mana, you get a 5/5. Other dinosaurs you control get +1/+1. So all your dinosaurs get stronger. And if you've got 6 mana laying around, you can create as many 3/3 dinosaurs with trample as you want. Okay, now we're getting over here with crazy dinosaurs. Gigantosaurus. For 5 mana, you get a 10/10. Now this does not have trample, but it will definitely get the job done. I'm showing off here the buy a box promo version, but here's Burning Sun's avatar. 6 mana, you get a 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to target opponent and 3 damage to up to 1 target creature. Any creature, including yours, can get dealt 3 damage, or your opponent, or technically a Planeswalker as well. Look how shiny that is. Verdant Sun's avatar, 7 mana, 5/5. Whenever Verdant Sun's avatar or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. So as you summon big dinosaurs, you gain big life. Huatli, Primal Storm, one of my favorite dinosaurs. Now we're getting to the legendary Elder Dinosaurs. 6 mana, 6/6 creature. Now look at this, this is amazing. When it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of non-land cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. So basically you're going to steal cards off the top of your opponent's deck and play them, cast them for free, as long as they're not lands. This is amazing. I can't take it. And it's as soon as it attacks, you can do that. Zetalpa Primal Dawn, another legendary Elder Dinosaur. For 8 mana, you get a 4/8 flying, double strike, vigilant, trampling, indestructible dinosaur. This I can't even. The sky takes flight and the earth trembles. If this is not blocked, this does 8 damage because of double strike. Even if it is blocked, 4 damage on first strike, 4 more damage on second strike. Indestructible. Hour of Revelation ain't to Zetalpa. And lastly, what other Elder Dinosaur do we have in our colors? Why yes, Galta, the Primal Hunger. For 12 mana, you get a 12/12 trampling creature. The generic mana cost can be reduced based on the total power of creatures you control. You might be able to summon this very quickly when you've got other creatures in the battlefield. You're going to be ramping, you're going to have lots of creatures. This is not going to be cast for 12 mana. I bet you can get it out for 2, and then you get a 12/12 trampler. The earth walks strongest of all. Lastly, Huatli Radiant Champion. For 4 mana, you get a Planeswalker, Loyalty 3. +1, put a loyalty counter on Huatli. For each creature you control, So as you start to build up your swarm of creatures, you +1 her, and hopefully you've got 2 or 3 or more creatures already on the battlefield. And suddenly you're pumping her up to 7, 8, 9, 10 loyalty very quickly. Well, -1, target creature gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. You can make your creatures even bigger. Okay, nice. Here's the better part. -8, you get an emblem with, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. So you're going to bring her out pretty fast, you're going to ultimate her pretty fast, and then you're going to have an emblem where you can draw cards whenever you bring more creatures. And since you will be able to increase her loyalty very easily, you can have more than one of these emblems and draw even more cards as you get more emblems, because you'll be able to give her more loyalty more easy. Huatli, I love you. And then lands, we've got the 3 colors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've got 12 of each of the colors of Zetalpa, and you could do dual lands in here. I left them all basics so you can search for them, but you can put in some dual lands if you'd like. Just 1 of each, however. I mentioned before a sideboard card. You can have this or other related cards that give your creatures indestructible. That might be helpful. This is Make a Stand. Similarly, you can have Blinding Fog for 3 mana, instant, prevent all damage that would be dealt to creatures this turn. So protect your creatures from damage. Better yet, creatures you control gain hexproof until end of turn. So a couple of cards I see that you could put in there if you'd like. You have to decide where to put them in, what to replace. So there you go, Zacama Primal Calamity Commander deck. It's about $50 or so, which is not as expensive as other Commander decks. And as you'll notice, pretty much all the cards are from recent sets. They're all on brand, Dinosaur Tribal. I think it's a very fun deck. It's a real impressive shock and awe deck when you're able to bring out big dinosaurs quickly. And if you're able to bring out your Zacama and have your Otepec Huntmaster give it haste, you're going to be doing commander damage very quickly. And with cost reduction, mana dorks, and just ways to ramp and accelerate, you'll be able to bring out Zacama to calamitous results against your opponents. So what do you think? How would you improve the deck? What would you add to it or remove from it? What would you change? Let me know in the comments. If you liked this video, don't forget to head on over to patreon.com/vmcampos, where I will have more deck tech on this commander deck. For as little as $1, you'll get access to the blog version of this video with even more content, strategy, and such. For $1, I think it's worth it. For $2 or more, I will mail you vintage Commander legal cards straight from my collection, guaranteed to be at least 20 years old. So head on over to patreon.com/vmcampos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video. This has been VM Campos. See you on Exile.